We've all heard that failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So if you want to play your best, you need to prepare your body and mind with a well thought out warm-up progression. And in tournament type situations, when you're playing 2 or more games in a day, warm-ups become even more critical. Now there are 3 phases to any good warm-up. They're elevate, activate, and coordinate. In the first phase, elevate, your goal is to increase your core temperature. You can do this through jogging or biking, but since we're preparing for basketball, I like to get a ball in my players' hands and have them do finish drills or some ball handling. The second phase, activate, is about taking your body through full range of motion exercises. I always tell my players that the way you activate a muscle is to stretch it. And in warm-ups, you'll mostly want to do this through dynamic stretching. See, I'm not a big fan of doing static stretching before games. That's when you hold a stretch for about 30 seconds, because I find that it actually cools you down. And I want my players to continually increase their core temperature throughout the warm-up routine. And the third phase, coordinate, is about quick twitch movements that coordinate your body and turn on your central nervous system. These would be things like short sprints or jumping exercises. Now this 5-minute routine I'm about to show you isn't the only way to warm up, so feel free to use some of your own exercises if they suit you better. Just make sure you have all 3 phases covered: elevate, activate, and coordinate.
We start the elevate phase by doing some ball handling. I've chosen 3 different patterns that get me moving in different planes of motion. I start out in the sagittal plane by dribbling forward and backward. Next, I move to dribbling between the legs. This gets me cutting side to side and introduces a new move that I use a ton on the court. Even though this is just a warm-up, I try to be quick on the change of directions and then jog to the next spot. And the last drill in the elevate phase is the spin move. In addition to simply warming up my body, I'm also working on balance by rotating in the transverse plane. This is why I prefer to do ball handling in this phase, because it prepares your body for what's to come. After a few minutes of ball handling, we'll move to the activate phase, where we activate muscles by lengthening them. The first exercise is a forward lunge with lateral reach. This stretches my hip flexors, lateral core, and shoulders, so I'm ready to get into a triple threat and drive position. The next dynamic stretch is a lateral lunge with forward and overhead reaches. This lengthens my adductors, hamstrings, and abdominals. When I reach forward, it gets me ready to defend on the perimeter. When I reach above my head, it prepares me to guard in the post. The last exercise is a rotation lunge with a rotation reach. This is one of my all-time favorite moves because it helps create mobility in your hips so you can be a lockdown defender. Notice that you'll rotate with both hands to stretch your front and back core. The last phase, coordinate, uses quick, total body movements to turn on your central nervous system. I start out with some quick feet into a 3-step acceleration sprint. Next, we work on defense by going quick feet into defensive slides. We've already activated the muscles with our lateral lunges, so now it's time to coordinate the system and get them firing quick. And to finish off the warm-up, we go vertical with rotation tuck jumps. The goal here is to spend the most amount of time in the air and least amount of time on the ground. Now that you've elevated, activated, and coordinated, you're ready to play.